Hi everyone, it's Mich here, and welcome to my channel. If you're new, thanks for stopping by, and if you are returning, thank you so much. Today I'm going to be doing the next day in my Junk Journal July 2024 challenge. I have up to this point have done 23 days, so this is day 24. I've just come back from holiday yesterday, vacation for we were gone 4 days, I think, but it feels like a lot longer, and I'm a little bit discombobulated, so you'll have to excuse me if I seem a little off. But today, the prompt, I am doing the challenge set by Meg Journals, and the prompt that she had set for today is ephemeral, and I am doing affirmation for each day, so today is destiny. Now, when I saw ephemeral, I kind of thought, is that a misprint? So I went back to her original prompt list because I was thinking it might be ephemera, but it does say ephemeral, so we'll run with that. One thing I do want to note is somebody had mentioned, did I seal off my pocket? No, I didn't. So there is a space for some writing or a little note inside there. And when I left the last yesterday's, it was incomplete. I think I had so much on my mind because this was the last day that I did before we went on to holiday. So what I've done since then is I just put a little sticker there, and I did put my affirmation, which was, I believe I am capable and I can do it. I also did put a little, just a little card there, and then I took another one of the little sort of Project Life cards you get in the paper kits and stuff. I did a little score line and made a little hinge there so that I could write or put a little picture there if I wanted. And then with the little flip up, I did put a little bit of gold washi at the edge of that pocket. And I put a little bit of washi there as well as kind of there. So I just decorated it a little more. I put a little bit of washi trim there. And then on this side, I just took a little tag and I put a brad through to the other side just so that it had a little interaction. I could put something a little secret there or on the back of the tag if I want to put a little prayer or a little something special on the back where nobody knows that it's there but me. So those are just some of the little things that I did for yesterday that I had kind of forgot to do. But today, this is the page that we're going to be working on. So what I thought I would do is I thought I would do a Dutch door. So I don't know if you're familiar with a Dutch door, but I've already got it started and it's looking a bit messy right now. But for the prompt ephemeral, I thought I would go with the butterfly because the butterfly does symbolize a transformation, which might be part of our destiny. Part of our destiny may be to transform our opinions or our outlook. My affirmation is the tide of destiny has turned and good things await. So, but as far as the ephemeral piece, a butterfly does symbolize that not only kind of transformation going from the eggs, and I'm going to finish this up, but this here is a leaf with the eggs. I've just kind of hand drawn that. And then a caterpillar, because it goes, the butterfly lays its eggs. It then comes alive as a caterpillar. The caterpillar then goes into its cocoon or its chrysalis and then emerges as this beautiful butterfly. So I kind of thought that the short lifespan of a butterfly really does kind of symbolize that life is ephemeral or short-lived. So I think all life in general is, as you know, our lifespan is relatively short compared to the formation of the earth itself and whatnot. So I just kind of felt that the butterfly is kind of ephemeral. So that's why I thought I would choose the butterfly. So I'm not sure if I'm liking what I'm doing here, but I figured I'd just carry on with it. I'm using some paper that is in one of my sketchbooks that I have used for watercolor. This is about 160 GSM, where real watercolor paper is around 300. So it's basically about half. But for me, it does take up water well. I mean, it is warping, but I'm kind of liking that in my junk journal, so I'm okay with that. So what I thought I would do is just kind of continue on with a little bit of my watercolors. It's not going to take that long, and I'm not an expert at all in watercolor. So, but I'm only going to use just a little bit of the yellow ochre and quinacridone gold, and then I'm just going to use a little bit of the greens for the other bits. I don't think I'll use blue. So I just use a little bit of a spray. The other thing, this started as this. I hadn't coffee dyed it or anything. So I've just distressed it a bit. I just went around the edge with the distressing, and I just kind of spot distressed. But I also keep in my fridge, I keep a little thing of coffee. And I do keep it in the fridge, otherwise it's going to go moldy. But I do check it just to see if it's going off. And I've had this one in my fridge now probably since almost a year ago, probably. Maybe September. The last time I was doing some coffee dyed stuff would have been around August, September. So I've had that in my fridge all winter, and it keeps pretty good. So I've just kind of sprayed. And that's where you see a little bit of these blotches, is that it's just kind of blotched out a bit, but I'm not disliking it. So I just spray down my inks or my paints, and I have a little bottle here that I keep some water in, and I have some blotting paper here. So I'm just going to just do a little bit of greens. I also keep some scrap paper just so that I can check my paint, just to see if I'm gonna like kind of the colors, and then I just sort of just go with it, I guess. The eggs, I'm not sure what color eggs are. Maybe we'll do them like a creamy color. And the thing with watercolor is that you start with your lightest color and then you go with your darker, whereas when I used to toll paint a lot back in the day, you would always go from your darker color. And if you don't like it, if it's too dark to start with, you can blot it off either by using your blotter paper, or if you take a clean half dry brush, you can always pick up some stuff. So I'm going to leave that to dry, and then we'll go on to our caterpillar. And I thought with our caterpillar, maybe we do him just in a little bit of the browns here. And I'm not being fussy. When I started this journey for this month, I just wanted to get back to doing some of my watercolors. So that's kind of where I'm, not just watercolors, but mixed media. And again, I'm by no means any kind of expert, but I do like the different looks in a journal, especially a junk journal. If I'm doing something a little less junky, like my garden journal was a junk journal, but it wasn't. I just wanted it to be a bit more refined, I guess. So I'm just adding a little bit of green to the side of the chrysalis. And I'm sticking with just a color palette of turquoise and phthalo blue. I think this is sap green. Some sap green. I did use a little bit darker green. Some yellow ochre and, I can never say, quinacridone gold. So that's what I've just kind of used. So those basic colors. And the quinacridone can go on kind of darkish, but I like that. And then his little stripes there. And if you don't want that harsh line, like I just did there, just take a bit of a clean brush and scrub it around a bit, and then it'll blend in more. It'll blend in better. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little bit more darker to the leaf because that's pretty dry now. And then Chester snoring. Not sure if he was happy to see us back or not. He was well looked after by his sissies. And they love him. They dote on him. So we had a great trip. We did everything we had set out to do. So that was good. The 3 things, well, and more, our accommodations we felt were really lovely. All 3, we stayed at 3 different places. It was a lot of driving, but that was good. So going up Cape Smoky was a little bit stressful because it's, you know, one of those high mountain ranges that the road is sort of just stuck on the side of the mountain. So that was a little bit stressful. And coming down Kelly's Mountain was a little bit stressful, but just because Kelly's Mountain is a very high and steep elevation coming down. It's like a 10% grade or something, which is quite a lot. And there was a transfer truck right. There's only 1 lane in certain places, and there was a transfer truck right on our butts. And we were going the speed limit, and I appreciate that trucks do go faster, but we weren't going to go any faster. It would have put us at risk. And that was kind of it's always stressful when there's somebody hugging your butt when you're driving. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of this quinacridone right here on this leaf. Chester snoring. Don't know if you can hear him, but he's over there in the window of the craft room just having a great old snore. Okay, so I'm kind of liking that. So for the eggs, I'm thinking that maybe I'll just stick with a light of the yellow ochre. That would work. Or maybe even a little bit darker. So yeah, so we got up Kelly's Mountain, and there's a gondola there that they've just they built a few years ago. So we made it up to the gondola, and it goes way to the top of Cape Smoky. So you can see way out over Ingonish Beach and way over out across into the Atlantic, which was cool. It was quite high up though. If you don't like heights, you probably wouldn't like it. So I'm just going to go, excuse if my head gets in the way, and I'm just going to brighten up these lines where the paint has kind of faded them out. And you want to make sure that you do this when your paint's completely dry. So I did this earlier this morning because you'll get paint on your nib, and then it can ruin your pen. But I just thought I'd brighten that up a bit. So the other thing that we did besides going up on the gondola is we took a boat ride from Big Brador out to Bird Island to see the puffins. I've seen puffins. I actually played with puffins in a way when I was in Iceland. You just lay on the top of the cliffs and they just play right around you. But I am in love with puffins. So we went out on the boat, and you don't get off where the puffins are, which is fine because you don't want to disturb things. But the boat sails round, very respectful. It was about 3 hours that we were out there. And we saw lots of puffins, bald eagles, lots of seals playing. One even stood up and clapped. I didn't see it, but Bobby saw it, and has made his whole day that this seal sat up and clapped at us, and not in a aggressive way. He just seemed really happy. And they don't get disturbed. They're laying sunning on the rocks and stuff, so it doesn't really disturb them. Thought I would do a little bit. I want a 0.1, very fine. Just thought maybe I would do a little bit, just a couple little flicks through. Add a little bit of detail to that. And I guess we could put a little bit of gold off to the side there. I'm just using a gold jelly pen just to add a little bit of detail there. I can add more later. I could go and just make like, for my butterfly, what I did is I just went online and I found an image of a butterfly, and then I got out my little light board that I use for diamond art, and the butterfly looked like this. So I just put it underneath my paper, and this is thicker than tracing paper, obviously, which is kind of why I use my little light board, but you wouldn't really need to. You could just hold it up to the light. But then I just traced it on there with pencil, and then I just went over it with my micro pen. And the micro pen, the thing I like about the micro pen is you can put your pen down first and just make sure it's good and dry. And then you can watercolor over top of it without smudging it. It becomes a permanent one. So we're just adding a little bit of detail to our butterfly, waiting for that to dry. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. That's going to go here. And I am going to put my saying on there so that I don't forget. But I think I just lost it, so... Uh-oh. Might have to come back to that one. Missed one on the floor. I told you, I'm just not on today. Alright, well, we'll come back to that. So the other thing I want to do is I want to add some other papers to the background. I'm finding that's, oh, there it is. That's just a little bit too white. So I'm just going to put, this is just a book out of Pride and Prejudice. So we just put that down. Okay, so we cut out there. I don't know what's wrong with I film on an iPad lately. It just cuts out at random. But I did get that little piece of background down there. And I have put my Dutch door on. And a Dutch door just is a little, a little page. And you can have a little secret message here. And when you flip through, it's not obviously seen. You could call it a tip out. But with this part here, I call that a Dutch door. So that's kind of our Dutch door. And then I'm just going to put some washi tape along here because I feel like that's going to rip. So, but I was saying, I don't know how much cut out, but that after we left Ingonish Beach, we then went over the mountains to Margaree Valley, and Bobby saw some, we saw some men fly fishing for salmon in the Margaree, and that's something he's been wanting to see for a long, long time. So he got to see that. He got to see the men fly fishing. And then we stopped at this co-op to get some food. We have a cooler that goes into the lighter, and when we get to the place that we're staying, then we can decant it out into a fridge if there's one there. So anyways, we stopped to get some food, and when we looked across the street, there was this shop called Miles from Nowhere. Miles as in a name of a man. And it was like this antique shop. So, of course, we're like, oh gosh, we got to go over and check that out. So we went over, and the man over there was so nice and so friendly. So I bought a few things there. One was, it was called a herd. I'm not sure if I want that to be seen or not. I don't think so. I'll put it there though. This has been sitting around on my desk forever. So I bought this herd ledger thing from 1921. And I'm going to do some scanning of the pages and then create maybe some digitals. And then I found this compendium of music, and it looked like it was from a school or something where they maybe taught music or something. But anyways, and again, that was from 1880. So I'm going to scan those pages, some of those pages too. So I thought for behind the Dutch door that we would use this paper clip that we used for this project, and just it can hold in a couple journal cards, and it can hold down the Dutch door. So if you're flipping through, it could look just like a tuck spot, but you don't know, people don't know or realize that you can open that up and have something private. You can have some thoughts that you don't want to share with everybody. You could put a little prayer there, a little devotional, just a picture of somebody, and then that can just go down like that. But I thought I would also do just a couple journal cards to put there too, but I wanted them to be hidden, which is kind of why I moved the paper clip over. So that one there I had already created, and this one here is almost, I just did a bunch of stamping, and I picked it up off my desk, and it had a butterfly. So I kind of thought, oh, well, that's relevant to today. So I just thought I would create a little journal card here too. And this is just a timeout sheet thing. I don't know where I got these. Maybe I don't know. And then you can wrap around the edges of this if you like. I don't think I will today, but I am going to just dress the edge. And then you'll have a couple other little places to write or record what's going on. I sent some postcards. So as we were going around on the way to, well, we were heading to, when we were in the Margaree Valley and we stopped at the co-op, we were actually heading over to Inverness Beach. And when we got... So then he saw the fly fisherman, and then we stopped for Miles from Nowhere. So then Bobby started writing this song, Miles from Nowhere. And anyways, I was taking down the notes, and I got him to, when I go places, I try to send a postcard to myself, which is kind of like a journal card that I can then put in my journal when I get here, and it already has some thoughts and things. And then I got Bobby to write one. So he's on the way home, and we've left Inverness Beach. So we went over to Inverness Beach, and that was my third thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to get over to Inverness Beach to find some sea glass, as it's one of the best places in Nova Scotia to find sea glass. And we did. We found lots of sea glass. Well, not lots. We basically walked not even halfway up the beach. So we came down onto the beach from the car park, and we could have went left, and there's still quite a bit of beach there. And when we went right, and there's the beach is about 1.7 kilometers long, I think. Anyways, it's long. But we basically just went way down, but only about halfway down, and came back, and I got half of a mason jar, half of a jar full of sea glass. I mean, if we had spent more time, we spent about 40 minutes probably. We could have got a lot more, but it was in the evening. It was about going on 7 o'clock, I think. 6:37, and we were starting to get tired, and it was a really hot day. But I was happy with what I had got. And I got a couple little projects. But so from Inverness, we were staying at this really cute little inn. And that's when we were writing the postcards, because it was sort of like the last night that we were going to be in Cape Breton. So I wanted to get them written and sent off. We sent them from Mabu. Anyways, we're halfway home. We're back on the mainland. And he says, you're going to have to let me know when you get your postcard. I said, okay, I will. He said, because the rest of the song is on the postcard and I can't remember it. I was like, oh my God, I hope the postcard doesn't get lost in the mail. So, yeah, so it was fun. And I'm sorry if that was a little bit chopped up and boring. So I think that's probably it for today. So we've done the ephemeral, the butterfly. I did a little bit. I was trying this to be the cycle, the life cycle of the butterfly. So then we just did a little bit of, I don't know if the light's going to catch that. It does have a little bit of a shimmer there. I think I might add a bit more though. Especially close in there. And just to do a little bit of something different, so some little watercoloring, and then some little spaces for some journaling or some little private journaling there. And then I just want to get my thing on the other side. And then we can just hold that down with our clip. And there we go. So thanks for watching. If you did like it, I'd love for you to give me a like. Apparently they help your video get seen by others. I'm not sure. If you haven't subscribed, I'd love for you to become part of our family. And until we meet tomorrow, bye for now.